joining us today. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
He said he was a believer.
Do you recognize that place here? Do you recognize that place?
Can I sit here?
Oh, who took the photo?
That was actually his job. Yeah.
괜찮아요, 괜찮아요. 괜찮아요?
Okay, thank you for joining us our GLP seminar. We have a very special guest speaker. This time, she drove all the way from Illinois, so more than probably 2 hours drive this morning. I got to know her through a non-profit organization called Gateway Korea Foundation, GKF. So some of you are probably know about this organization, but they are based in St. Louis, and they are actively promote Korean culture, Korean art, and they've been doing this over the last 14 years. And Hyonsook is the chair of that organization. So she was born in Korea, but came to US when she was very young. So she's Korean American, second generation. And she is now retired, but she was a project manager for the oil company for many years. She had a degree in chemical engineering from the University of Illinois. And now, since she's fully retired, she has the time, so she's a world traveler. She travels all of the globe, including Africa, even North Pole or South Pole.
Yes.
Yeah. She's a world traveler, and then she started taking pictures. So she became an amateur photographer. I personally saw many of her pictures and amazed by those pictures. So I asked her to present to our scholars. So today, you see some amazing pictures, mostly from Asia, and you may start thinking about your world travel and also taking lots of pictures when you retire, even today. So please welcome, and you enjoy it. And after this presentation, we might have some questions, so we have some wonderful discussion. So, thank you.
I've always been very technical, and I've never given a presentation that's more artsy, so this is new for me. Okay. All right. Wanted to give you an idea of, I'm sure you all know what Asia looks like, but we'll be talking about Japan, China, the Southeast Asian countries of Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia. And then we'll also be talking about India and Bhutan. And, those are the ones that I've been considering the last 4 years. Just a few facts and grounding. I've put U.S. with all the other countries, okay? And so I thought it was very interesting to get the population of all the countries, what the land mass looks like relatively, and also the GDP per capita. And so that gives you, the GDP per capita gives you a sense of the standard of living. And so I thought it was pretty interesting to see because the way people appeared when I was visiting didn't reflect that somebody had a higher GDP or a lower one. I found the people in Bhutan, which, if you look over there, it's one of the lower ones, right? And they really are very happy. and that really kind of surprised me when I went to visit. So that was just a little bit of grounding for you. China and India, they have about the same population. India is a little bit bigger, but China's population is dropping, whereas India's is increasing. So, so in a few years, you can see India's population will keep going up, right? The landmass, I always thought China as being absolutely huge. And I was surprised to find that it's about the same size as the US in order of magnitude, right? And so that surprised me a bit. And then you see the others, they kind of follow in. So, China is really the big daddy of Asia. You know, it's one of the world's oldest continuous civilizations, and so it has a strong influence all throughout. So you'll see that today's China, religion seems to shape the values, but I did see lots of monks and people going to temples and a lot of that sort of thing that I saw in the other countries. All right, I think that had something to do with communism and Mao. But some of the common values, such as family hierarchy and respect for elders, all that type of stuff, that all continues. You know, those types of traditions. You know, like having love and compassion for others, adhering to social norms. You see people kind of doing the same things, right? And you don't see them really sticking out that much. And really, I saw a lot of yin and yang stuff, you know, harmony with the underlying forces, the flow of the universe. So I saw a lot of that, the Tai Chi, the Kung Fu, all that. Another thing that was kind of surprising for me in China were the parks. It seems to be a central place where people get together. And so the big park in Beijing, I was kind of surprised to see not only grandparents playing with the grandkids at the park, but I saw people exercising, and some of them were like incredible. They were doing flips and everything off the high bars. And I also saw matchmaker. You know, there were two couples, and you know, they were matchmaking. And then there was like another section that had group therapy going on. And so it was just, you know, because I'm like, what are all those people doing? And they're like, oh, it's group therapy. It's like, seriously? So there's all these things that you see, and then at night, a lot of times in the park, you'll see ballroom dancing. And so I just thought that was very cool, that everything is together. And you'll see that also in the US. And I went to a park in San Francisco, in Chinatown, and you see the same sort of things. So I think it's just a cultural thing that everyone's doing. So it's very cool. Okay. Another thing that I saw was that I love my coffee in the morning, and it's very much the tea culture. So in order to get a cup of coffee, it's pretty tough. Those little coffee pots are small, and they only make 1 cup at a time. And so I just figured that out. So I was always the first one down to get my coffee, because everyone else had to wait like 30 minutes. And so that was really something. And another thing throughout Asia, I saw a lot of they call it cosplay, the costume play. So everyone gets dressed up when they go to some of these places, like the Forbidden Palace. You'll see that. You'll see everyone's in costume, lots and lots of costumes. So that surprised me. But I saw that everywhere. And so you see the Forbidden City, you see amazing architecture, and of course great food. And I was also surprised to find that it's one of the most beautiful countries I've ever been to. So I was very surprised about that. I thought, you know, I didn't expect that. Okay. So here's some pictures. This is looking down. We climbed a big hill and then took pictures of the rooftops of the buildings and everything. And that's in Beijing. And then you see some kids. That was right in the beginning part of the Forbidden City. They're dressed up in costume, and then there's a big thing there that people were getting their pictures. And then this was in the central courtyard of there. You see more people dressed up and walking around. And they were very happy to go. I said, can I take a picture? Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then here's a couple more. In fact, the mother asked me for a picture of the little boy. She was so surprised that he said, okay, he consented to it, because he wasn't the one that liked it. So we gave her the picture right off. This is the Summer Palace. And Summer Palace is just amazingly beautiful. So I was surprised to see the beautiful bridges. You see the homes off on the little island. The things over there, the yellow top things, those are little boats. And you go chugging around the little lake, getting a picture. There's a little pagoda, and some people were using it for picnics and things like that. here's the bridge here at sunset. I mean, the setting, the surroundings around there, just stunning. Oh. Like actually running, so anyway. Then here's some pictures from the top Kung Fu school in China. This was near Beijing. This is really where Jackie Chan trained also. And so when he's looking at doing movies and things, he actually goes to that school and recruits people from it. And so some of the kids are, they're very good. They did a dance for us, and then over there you see the dragon right here. So the dragon head and it was quite good. And just some pictures. By the way, that picture of him leaving, that's hard to get. With the person in the bottom. And so, I didn't get that good. So, and then now we're to the Great Wall. Now, this Great Wall is just amazing. I didn't realize it was this long, because I remember the first time I went to China, we went to the one by Beijing, and it was very crowded. Okay? And then later on, I was asking the guide over there, what was the most favorite thing for the Chinese people in Beijing? And she said, Tiananmen Square. I said, why is that? I said, that's kind of really, it's just a big space, right? I said, why not the Great Wall? And she said, that's not a Beijing thing. She said, it goes 13,000 miles. 13,000. And it took over 2,000 years to build. Can you imagine? You know, like having that attention year after year to keep building that wall. But you can see the over here, you can see the watchtowers, and they occur every once in a while. People go up and down. And over here, they were actually throwing a party there at sunset. So we were kind of mad at our guy. He was like, well, they get a party, why don't we get a party? but it was beautiful. This is the Putong area of Beijing, and Putong is like the old area, and most people that live there tend to be older. They are older. They're small. They're not the high rises and everything like that. But it is. You see the river going through. You see beautiful trees. Everything is just gorgeous. This is like, you know, as I was walking, I took a picture of it. It's just pretty. And then this is the little park that was in that area. Get together and do that. And then another park, you saw kids riding, you know, little riding toys and all kinds of stuff. Now this is the Hangshan Mountain. This is, we went up there to this mountain on a big cable car, and then we walked around. And of course, at the top, you have to keep going up and down, right? And so even though we rode up in a cable car, that day my Apple Watch logged 78 flights of stairs. And I was worn out. But so I was really surprised that I could get a ride up and still log that many. But this is one of the Sherpas, and he was carrying the load up. And apparently, some of the folks in our group, they didn't look very fit, because he actually offered them his walking stick down. so then after that, they were very motivated to work out. They said, if that guy can offer me a walking stick, and that guy has all that stuff, look how pathetic I must look. But yeah, they just went up and down the whole mountain, something like that. It was just amazing to see. Now, this is the same mountain, but then the weather just keeps changing. And that's something that I didn't know about China, was that when you see the paintings of it, and they always look like they have some fog in there, I thought it was a style, but it's not. It really does look like that. So that was surprising to me. This is a really cute village we went to. It's called Hong Kong Village. It's a UNESCO heritage site. It was the filming location for Crouching Tiger. It's just a beautiful little city. and it's a very artsy city. It's kind of the center of art there. And so there were so many artists. Everyone had an easel and everyone was painting on it. And it's like everywhere. I've never seen so many artists in one place. And then I thought this one was interesting. They said I could take a picture of them. There were 5 people working on one painting. And I just thought that was very cool. And it's just one of the ladies that modeled this. And there's just scenes on the street. Now, this is the first time I've seen statues with round faces. In the U.S., all the faces are very oval. Over there, they're round. And so I had to take a picture. Especially since I've got a round face. So anyway. There's another area of China, it's called Jiafu, and I'm probably pronouncing all these names wrong, right? It's where the photographers go to take pictures. So this was a fisherman in the lake area, and he was throwing fishing net. Over here, it's like the old-fashioned, the oxen with the bamboo. And then here's a woman repairing the fishing net. And then we went down to Guilin. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. How do I pronounce that?
Guilin.
Guilin. Okay, Guilin. Guilin was just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. We took pictures of it at in the morning, in the afternoon, at night. It was just beautiful everywhere. And so depending on where you went, on how pretty it was. And so it was just amazingly beautiful. And this is on the Lee River. By the way, I won a prize for this. I entered that. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I entered this in the travel contest for the Post-Dispatch, and I won. Oh. Yeah. I've never won anything for so that was kind of cool. Years ago, when I was in middle school, I had to sew something, right? Sew a dress or something. And then my mom looked at it afterwards. She was really talented. She looks at it and she said, I think you need to keep going in your studies. Yeah. So. And this, we went over to the rice terraces, and they were just beautiful. And there were just a couple of ladies that were, again, in costume play for that area. And so it was, we asked if we could take a picture. She said, of course, yeah. So the rice terraces went on and on. So we went hiking through them and did all kinds of stuff in the rice terraces. Just beautiful. And then of course, this is Hong Kong. This is the harbor in Hong Kong at night. It was just beautiful. Now you know why I think China is one of the most beautiful places in the world. Now, India, that's another place I went to last year, and it's very chaotic and very colorful. There are no lanes for cars, so they're not. Everyone merges, and I don't know how they don't crash into each other. I don't know how they do it. They all do that. It doesn't matter where you go, they all do that. And it's very crowded. The cities are very crowded, and the countrysides are just beautiful. It's extremely diverse in terms of language, religion, cuisines, wealth. Oh my gosh, some people are so wealthy. We saw a 27-story building.
Wow.
And it was for one family of like 6 people, and they had like 200 servants or something. And then others, they have like no money whatsoever. Yeah. And so it's a very different place. English is very widely used there. It's the language of business, and so everyone can speak that. There's a caste system there, and that's interesting because by birth, whatever caste you're born to, that's where you mostly stay. And so that defines your rank in life, what kind of job you can get. You can only get certain jobs if you're a certain caste. Religion does play a huge role there. You see all different types, but of course Hinduism and Buddhism are the two strongest. The festivals, there's lots of festivals. I think you've seen pictures of the Holi festival with all the color being squirted everywhere. And everything's very colorful. I went to India really to see the Mela, and I thought I was going to the one that comes every 12 years. And I didn't know until I actually got there that it was the one that came once every 144 years. And so what I saw was spectacular, absolutely spectacular. It only comes once every 144 years. And nobody knew, because the last time they had it was everyone's dead, so nobody knew how many people would come. And so they were thinking maybe 100 million. But it's over a 6 weeks period of time, and actually 500 million people came. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. I was there for like 6 days, and just kind of wandering around. You know, of course, yoga, that comes from India. The Bollywood industry. The architecture, it comes from, you know, it's widely varying, you know, from, you know, lots of shacks and stuff like that with blue tarp up over it to the Taj Mahal. So it's just, some of it's just amazing. This was my first day in Calcutta, and I was kind of shocked. You know, I looked, we were walking across the bridge, I looked down and I said, oh my gosh, this guy's sleeping there. He's sleeping on the raised median. And then the other picture was the entrance to the flower bed. Look at all that stuff on the ground. Yeah, that's what I mean about it. Lots of trash. They're trying to teach the kids not to throw trash away. Because, you know, there's no trash in here, so they have to carry it everywhere. So they're trying to teach them that, so that in 10 or 20 years that the kids be much cleaner. That's the goal. That's the goal. This is really life along the river. Everyone goes to the river, and so this is in the same area that we'll see people washing their clothes, someone else brushing their teeth, other one taking baths, and it's all the same. And this is, I found this a little strange. It's the same river, okay? But then I took some shots right along there. This is within 25 feet of each other. So you see one guy brushing his teeth with a stick. Another one is getting a photo shoot, you know, like for her engagement or something. And then the other one's doing like a wedding photo shoot. And all that is there. Okay? It's so vibrant, so colorful. And then another family decided that they were going to hang out there for the day, so they brought big blankets and everyone kind of hung out. It's very close to that other area. It's right there, you see them all from shot. And you know, I didn't look for it, but I did notice that there was a lot of haircuts, and it was done on the street, and I had never seen that before either. And then this other one, I don't think you want to be a doctor there. That's the office. So the doctor would just like, you know, nighttime, the doctor would just kind of, you know, sit at a little table, picnic table, and then people would come by and say, oh, we're going to get a shot of it. Yeah. So it was very good. And then this is a rickshaw driver, and it was just, you know, these are just sweet, right? And then we went to the park. Yeah. And he didn't do the food thing, but he did do this. And this is a shaman. So you see a lot of shaman. Varanasi is a very special place. It's considered holy, you know, like all the time. So you see a lot of shamans and so forth that hang out there. And you're supposed to bathe in the river to get purified. So there's like long lines. They you know, long lines, and people go in and bathe in the river and then come back out. And it just keeps going all day. It keeps going all day long. And behind Varanasi, you know, people walk around in these alleyways, and cows are around everywhere. They aren't penned up or anything like that. And this one even has the red dot. Yeah. And so, and here's some other shots from the alleyway. Now, this is Kumbh Mela. And we were on top of the hill. Yeah. then here's some signs, some different pictures from that. This is again, people having, they had, each family seemed to have a different ritual for how they're going to bathe in the river. Okay? They always had an offering, they always had prayer, and then they would, I don't know, sometimes they would do something like round and round a few times, another, they would always have their own ritual. How many times they would dunk. And each family had their own. Some said 3 was a magic number, others did 5, that kind of thing. But it was very interesting to watch. Over here, there were people with their offerings, and everyone had offerings, and they would have their offering for prayer, and then the bathing in the river. But these are some folks that I caught kind of coming up. This is a boy, and he's painted with a blue face. That's to embody the Hindu deities, Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna. And then here are a lot of pictures of shaman. I saw them everywhere. This is the Nepal's hangout. Apparently, that's what it says on the sign here. And so they came, the Nepalis that came for this, they know that they go there and hang out with others. And yeah, you see all kinds of stuff there. And this was actually the same picture that was on the New York Times. Yeah, they took that picture.
Oh.
They took that picture. Yeah, and I was there, and I was like, oh, they have my picture.
Oh.
Yeah. And so the shaman, they range a lot. There's some, you see the way they're all dressed and everything. Some like this one here, I can tell by you see the way he's got ash, it's all gray. Yeah, the ones that do that are yogis. They don't wear any clothes, they just wear ash. And so they feel like they're forsaking everything. And then, and they also want to, this guy is laying in a bed of thorns. Yeah, he's laying in a bed of thorns. And then there's this little drum thing. He was doing this back and forth. And some of these are different types of coloring that they put on their arms. So saw a lot of that. Another one on. Now, I found this really interesting. These are some of the highest shaman and they're transgender. And they are just totally revered, and everyone feels very lucky if they get to meet them, and they say, and that shaman says hello back. And so it's considered quite an honor just to meet them. And they are transgender. They're both men. And then of course there's the Taj Mahal. It was just absolutely magnificent. It's just amazing. Then we went out to the countryside, and so this is in Jodhpur, and see my pictures in Jodhpur. This over here is a well where they used to go there to get water, and then there was a man playing on top of the hillside, right overlooking the city. And then we went to Jaisalmer, and this is Jeddah, Thar Desert. And it's just, it's beautiful. Now we're going to go to Japan. Japan is just the absolute opposite. Okay, Japan is like super clean. Everything runs exactly on time. There's no chaos. If I didn't know which train I was supposed to take, I just look at my watch, and it was as long as I was on the right platform, I knew that train was going to go there because I couldn't read the signs because it's exactly on time. Everything there is about harmony, respect, etiquette. Even people getting off the trains and the subways, going to work, you see them, they all wear the same color suit, except for one person and that person sticks out because he's in dark gray. And you can see him from a quarter mile away, you can see him. But then they also seem to do different things with their hair. So I thought that was interesting. The hair is all different, but yet the suits are all the same. They're very honest. Look very low factory. In fact, I heard stories about people leaving. They go to baseball game. They want to go get something, and they want to remember where their seat was. So they leave their entire camera kit, like really nice camera kit, sitting on the chair, and nobody takes it. Yeah, it's like that. Great food. It has the most number of Michelin star restaurants in the world. That includes France, by the way. It has the most, so it's really fun to go. It's not super expensive either. It has a real nice blend of ancient and modern, ancient traditions and modern innovation. The tea shower tour, and it was really fun doing that, overlooking a beautiful garden. They have beautiful gardens. Have you seen the way they almost bow? And the reason why is because they're going into a sacred space. It's like the real world and then the sacred space. And then here's some more street scenes from Kyoto. I was just amazed how many people dressed up in costume. Even the more mature people. Okay. And that's part of Japan. Now we've done India, China, and Japan. Now we're going to go to the Southeast Asian countries. Okay. Thailand. People really do smile. It is called the land of smiles. They're so nice. It's a very, very hot place. So I like to say that the air has texture, so you can feel it. You can feel the air. So you need to go when it's nice and cool. The best time to go really is like in June right now. It's the least humid. They have amazing massages. So if you can, go get one like multiple times when you're there. They have great service in those hotels. It doesn't matter what hotel you're in, great service. There's a very strong Buddhist influence, and then the temple architecture is like lots of things. The food is a lot of street food. I only ate it a couple times. I get some cakes, but I didn't get that good, which is great. But it's the balance of sweet, sour, and spicy. Now this is the classic, the Wat Moon. That's the one that you see when you see Thailand. And then this is Wat Pro. This is a big temple complex, also on a different side. Yeah. And so you see the monk that was in charge. I didn't realize until we met him that I guess it makes sense, right? You have the business of running a monastery, and so he was the one that was in charge of communication. And then there were a couple of kids there, and they were staying there at the monastery. A lot of times the young monks are left there if the parents can't take care of them. So then they leave them at the monastery. The monks take care of them, and they even take care of them all the way through college. And then at that point, those kids can decide, they're grown, they can decide whether they can stay or go. And it's not considered that they're owed anything, right? It's just considered being nice and taking care of each other. That's the way it's considered. So also monks can come and go. They don't need permission to come and go. So sometimes the monks will be monks for a while, and then they feel like they want things, like physical things and stuff like that. And they think about that kind of stuff. You're not supposed to think about that when you're a monk. So then they'll leave. They'll leave being a monk, and they'll go back to real life. And then later on, you can go back and sometimes they come and go, and they don't require permission to do that. I thought that was interesting because it's different than here. This is in Ayutthaya, and that's another UNESCO heritage site. Here's some pictures from there. This is kind of I include that. This is an Instagram type of picture. It's the Buddha in the Bodhi tree. And it's near the ancient temple that you saw. And this is the Shanghai area. This is the White Temple. These are the long-necked women. They're in the northern part of Thailand. And my perception of them after I met them, I thought they were miserable because they got these things on, and I thought they were really being kind of tortured in a way, you know, they were forced to do these things. But they weren't. They feel very beautiful with these rings on their neck. And it's just part of life with them. You know, we visited a little preschool and took pictures. Then we moved on to the tea plantation in Massimo. This is an Anga woman picking the tea. She's dressed in church. And then there's a nearby lady that was just drying things. And by the way, their eyes are wonderful. What?
Did you eat it all?
I did. They gave me 5 spoons, and I said, okay, you guys can take a few bites. I said. Lao, it's a very different place. It's very laid back. It's super spiritual. I didn't know that about that. And the Mekong River there, that's a big river. They have the Thanksgiving rituals, and they have the temple architecture. It's a very interesting place. So here's one of the temples, and then here's some scenes along the Mekong. And then we went to one of the temples, and it was just a small one. They cared for them like building. Of course, there's visuals. By the way, you're supposed to be able to tell where the Buddha is from by the shape of their face. So if their faces are skinnier, then they're either Cambodian or Lao. If they're fatter, then they're Chinese. Okay, you're supposed to be able to tell. And we got pictures of that. This was super interesting. Early in the morning, you know the way the monks take care of the town takes care of the monks. And so every morning, the monks come, and the people in the town, they take turns feeding. So that they sign up for a certain day each month, and then they come back and give some food to the monks, and that's what the monks will eat on. And there's some beautiful waterfalls here. Kids playing. There's an elephant sanctuary here. It was really neat seeing all the elephants. I got to see them really up close because I was asked to move some bananas. Apparently, I smelled like bananas after that. And so all the elephants were bothering me. they were following me around like little dogs. So little puppies. And so I was kind of, why are they doing this? Because they were nudging me. Yeah, very friendly. These are the Hmong kids. The Hmong group in that area. So we got really lucky because there was a yearly festival that happened usually at the end of the year. There was a lot of rain, so they actually postponed it to the weekend we were there, and so we got to see this. People are all dressed up. They come from all over the country to go to this festival. This is a big gathering, and this was so interesting. This is like speed dating, you know, in Lao style. Right? See, the girls line up on one side, boys line up on the other side, and they throw a ball back and forth. And if you like that person, you want to keep talking to them, you keep throwing it back and forth to the same person. If you don't want to talk to them anymore, you throw it to the next person. Wow. Yeah. I just found the whole thing fascinating to watch. Yeah. So I sat there and watched it for a while. I'm like, I wonder who's going to get knocked out. And, you know, it's because some of them. They don't have balls being thrown at it. Now, Angkor Wat, I always think of Cambodia as being, you know, all the temples with all the roots from and so forth. we saw a lot of that. I also got to see a blessing, and that was pretty neat. And so anyway, you can see some of these pictures, okay? This is Angkor Wat, there's a lake in front. And then you see it's the same during the day. And some of the things up on top in the faces of them, that's interesting. This is the same thing, late in the afternoon. This is one of the pictures where the monk and his temple's behind it. And this, they're getting a blessing. And so you see that huge container up there? This one here? It's filled to the top with water. And he takes that bucket and keeps drenching them. And it takes like 20 or 30 minutes. And they sit there and pray. This is their blessing. I thought, wow, it's a lot different than getting confirmed or I was really kind of surprised. I'm like, why are they sitting there getting drenched? And why don't they move? They're like, no, this is very lucky. And they felt so good getting that. These little things that he's carrying right here, those are containers that the liquid is in, all right? And that's, now we met a family, and I didn't know who that was. That's actually brown rice. And she's working to get the hull off the rice. Yeah, and they all work together. The grandparents, the kids, the grandkids. There were a few chickens, and there's a cow there, and they all sleep right next to each other, including the cow. And so they each have their own open huts type of thing. And so it was interesting. And then while she was cooking, she needed more sugar, so she tells the grandfather to go and get her some sugar. So he finds that palm tree with those containers, and then he comes back with a lot of palm sap, and then they boil that down and make sugar out of it. So yeah, I'd never seen that before. So anyway, I thought that was cool. These are just some street scenes from a small village that was nearby the river, and you can see that it must flood there a lot because everything's up very high. And then we have Vietnam. I saw a lot of influences from China, France, and so forth. It's very colorful there. Also, much like India, but it's very chaotic. It's very tough to cross the street. You really have to kind of take a deep breath and close your eyes. Yeah, it's really tough to cross that street. And they do a lot of ancestor worship. It's very fascinating. So these are just some things as I was walking by. See, this is what I mean about being super colorful. Now, I heard that there was a sidewalk cafe culture, but this isn't really what I was expecting. You know what I mean? It looked like kids are sitting. You're sitting on little kids' chairs, like little tight chairs. But that's the way the sidewalks are. Sidewalk cafe. So when they talk about that, that's what they mean. No, this is him. This is good. And then I saw this as the bus was. I've never seen anything like this. This is the first class bus. You see it? Yeah, see this? Yeah, that's that. It's like business class on a plane, but then they have buses. So I thought, wouldn't be so bad. A train actually runs through it. This is called train store. And train actually runs through it. So we had parents right there. And I'm like, when's that train coming? Are they going to be on time? I don't want them to sit too close. The train's actually running. And, beautiful, little things that you can buy on the street. Just beautiful little cards and all that. Yeah, just a couple of ladies I saw. And these are just the streets. And this is Haley. It is just beautiful. Just, it's all gray and steep. This was, the, you know the way you heard about the Vietnam War, and this is the Memorial. And that's where we were chained up. This is the Temple of Literature, and we were, again, lucky, because it was kindergarten graduation. And all the little kids at the Temple of Literature, they were celebrating, and they were just so everybody was happy except for that little boy. He was very happy. He did not want to leave. Yeah. Now, Hoi An is like a huge tourist place, and you see little lights everywhere, and it's walking, and it's quite fun. You can go there and get clothes made. So some people do that, clothes, shoes made. So this is really what it looks like. It's just a real touristic area. And then these are people working on rice paddies. And I thought this was kind of interesting with the double buckets. Yeah. And water acid. And now this is the last one. Okay? This is totally different. This is Bhutan. It just opened to the outside world in 1970. So it's been, if you remember the map, it's surrounded by mountains. And it's culturally, it's really very intact and preserved. They do that on purpose. And they have a wonderful Lord family that leads it. They do have some great moral values like compassion, nonviolence, and respect for all living things, and more reverence for the future. They don't have any advertising anymore. There's a lot of pride in the cultural continuity. There's monasteries everywhere, so the church is huge there. And people still dress in a lot of the traditional garb. The women wear kiras and those. Now, this crooked slide, it's because it just kind of snapped it. We listened to a presentation about gross national happiness. And believe it or not, they track it. They make laws according to these 4 pillars. And then they go back and look at their laws and see if it really did make anybody happier. If they didn't make it happier or make them sad, they actually repeal the law. So I found that very interesting. And everyone did seem pretty happy. The architecture of the buildings here are beautiful. This is the first time I've ever taken a picture inside an airport. Can you believe it? This is the airport. Yeah, it is just beautiful. I've never seen an airport like that. And then this was outside the airport on the way to the land. I took a plane up to Mount Everest. So Mount Everest is right here. Yeah. And the Buddha air is there. So I was like, this is the place I found out also that you think that you have some certain ideas in your head, right? You see gates, you look at your gate number where you're supposed to go, you see gate 10 or something. So you think, oh, well, I need to go look for 8, 9, 10's going to be there. No, it's just random. So 6 can sit next to 10, should be next to 1. So whatever is open, they just assign it the next gate. And so I was like, now how am I going to find my plane? Because all I have is a gate number. Right? So anyway, it took me a little while to find it. So it's just these types of things that you just take for granted that you know how to do. It was kind of hard finding it. This was the guy in, he's the only stop sign in Timber. And they replaced him with stoplight. Okay? Yeah, they replaced him with stoplight. And everybody was very unhappy about that. And so then when they went back to check if it made people happier, it didn't. So then they took down their stoplight and put this guy back in. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, because I'm sure that somebody in accounting said, oh, if we put in a stoplight, It's gonna save a lot of money. Because now we don't need somebody 24/7. They have a lot of monks and things like that there, and so we saw a lot of walking around. They were waiting here for a blessing, and so that's the day that the head abbot was supposed to come, and so they were sitting around waiting for that. There's actually a fertility clinic in Bhutan where people from all over the world come there when they're having problems having kids. Then they come there, and believe it or not, they feel like it's worth the trip to get blessed by the head abbot. And so the head abbot there will go around, and everybody that goes in the temple waiting, because sometimes you have to wait there hours. And he'll actually bless them with a golden penis. Seriously. So he did like conks everybody on the head. Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. There's actually a big book there in the temple that I went inside that shows all of the babies after they were born. The people write in and send information. Here's some more monks praying and so forth. And this is what the gift shop is. There's another barber, and even in Bhutan, that little kid was playing on the phone. Yeah. It's very mountainous there, and so just a bunch of people, we walked a lot. And there was a festival in town, and so it was neat to see everybody come dressed up and start dancing and all kinds of stuff. And this guy's the one that's in charge of the hat. And people are just great. We visited a school, and so it was, smart, sincere, mindful, astute, resilient, and timeless. So it was just, they really go after that. They do have a problem with cell phones there, and so no cell phones are allowed. If you take one to school and they find you, then it's confiscated and returned within a week. So they just take it for it. And then these were two little girls that were dressed in kiras, and this was their house. They were very proud of their kitchen because it had been recently remodeled, and you can see there. That was their kitchen area, and this is the rest was kind of their living room, and that's where they live and eat and everything. And after I saw that kitchen, I thought, I'm not going to bitch about my couch space anymore. And this was the attic, and we saw various zones throughout, and that's where sometimes the government's there, or sometimes the church is like, it's kind of better. This is the largest pizza that was there. And then this was the Texas. This is the most famous picture. And it's quite a high picture. I don't know how they built it, but yeah, it's quite a high. So some of the conclusions I have found from these travels was it seems like family and community really seems to make a huge difference in happiness. It didn't matter how many people made. It really mattered who was around you and how everyone felt supported. It was really about supporting each other. Okay? And everywhere in Asia, I saw a deep respect for parents, elders, and ancestors. I saw people adhering to social norms and more of a social harmony because everyone kind of knew what their role was in that role. Okay. Oh, I forgot about this. This is actually from Nepal. I didn't know what I was taking a picture of. I didn't know what they were doing.
I was going to ask you about this. What did you sound like, Bernie?
Yeah, they were burning. Yeah, they were burning bodies there. And I said, what's underneath? They put something there, and they put a bunch of straw on top. I said, what is that? Why are they burning that? Why are they putting it in the river? And it was really down. So anyway. And then that was
photos and also explanation. So let's have some few questions that we might have come up with after this
Yeah.
wonderful
Yes,
table. Yeah.
yes.
Which pretty. I guess from your photos I can guess, but I would like to get it from you directly. What draws your attention when you first arrive in a new country?
When I first arrived, I think it's you can kind of feel the attitude. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, you can feel the attitude, and I never felt that anybody wasn't welcoming. But I have to say that most different place I've ever been to was Bhutan. Yeah, but yeah, I think you kind of feel it's like the atmosphere. That's, you feel it.
It's not just the scenery, but
Excuse me?
it's not just like a scenery or people. It's sort of the combination of people and.
Yeah. It's like, like when you first get to Beijing, it just kind of feels like a big city, right? Feels like a big city, and I didn't really get anything super special out of that in the beginning. You had to dig a little deeper because everyone was just walking along, going to their place and so forth. It could be anything. Yeah. Anything else?
How did you take that picture that went, where you won the prize? There was evening, there was a boat.
Oh, I took it, it was actually blue light, and I didn't know what blue light was until this trip. That's like before sunrise. So that was before sunrise, and so blue light is, when you hear some blue light, that's what that means. So I had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then get bus somewhere, and then had to hike down another half an hour, 45 minutes, and it was still dark. It was still dark, and so I'm kind of cranky. Because I'm like, this is better. Because I had to get up at 3.
Yes, well, it was very impressive. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, that could have been a
Oh,
You
thank you.
announced that it did.
Yeah, thank you. It's the first time I've ever won anything for this. So it's really very fun hobby.
I have lots of questions.
Sure.
Yeah, you go first.
What equipment camera do you use? How long have you learned photography? So you never tried this?
No,
Very good.
I use a Canon. Yeah, I shoot with a
How long
Canon.
have you learned?
I've only been doing this for 4 years.
But you took some classes.
Yes, I did. There's I took a class at, I live near SIU, and so there were a couple classes. One was on taking pictures, another one was on how to Photoshop. I'm not very good at the Photoshopping because I feel like it should shoot right to begin with. I'm not going to spend a lot of time fixing it. So the pictures you see there, they've only been mostly just slightly, adjusted like the way you would do on an iPhone picture, and then I've cropped them, to the point. But I don't really like them well. Some people do.
Any of these countries you visited multiple times, and you see any difference from your first time?
Yes, I visited China, like, I guess about 15, 20 years ago, and then I visited them just recently, and it was very different. When I first went to Beijing, I remember it was pretty polluted. There were lots of cars everywhere. And I was surprised this time to find that it was really clear, very clear, and couldn't hear anything. You had to really watch where you're stepping off, because I'm used to hearing sounds, from cars, from bicycles, things like that. But over there, I didn't hear anything because everything's electric. And so you had to keep reminding yourself, I have to look, otherwise I'll get run over. Yeah. So that's what our leader kept telling us also. Look right and left. Don't just step up. Yeah, one of the guys on this kept it.
Any questions from the scholars?
Yeah.
Could we get like one of the slides, so that way, the blue screen is not.
Oh,
yeah,
sure,
it's good to
sure.
recording. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, that's fine, yeah, now it's gone, yeah. So,
Yes.
I saw the, last of the photos of individuals and peoples, and
Yeah.
how would you approach, photographing people respectively in different cultures?
Oh, you know what, I just asked them.
Or just ask them?
I just asked them, can I take your picture? And most of the time they're delighted. In fact, when we were going around the summer palace, they were following us. Because they liked the pictures, and then they'd say, can I have those pictures? I was like, yeah, sure, give me your email address and we'll send them out tonight. And so people seem, I didn't really have anybody say no. Yes.
that was fascinating, thank you so much again. So on your first slide, I saw the GDP.
Yes.
Vietnam 4K and Bhutan 3.7. That's a surprise to me. And what did you see as like a main sources of income for people to be 3.7? Okay.
Oh. No, I didn't, I think the main source of income is they do hydroelectric power that they sell to India. But I didn't really see them doing.
Because when you go to Vietnam, like you see like a vibrant market activities. I mean,
Yes,
there-
yes, everyone's up.
There's capitalistic components, but
Right.
Bhutan, I was wondering, I mean, close to Vietnam, yeah.
Yeah, they are close to
Yeah,
it.
it's really surprising, yeah.
Yeah. They also have, they're gonna be doing a free trade type corner of Bhutan, because they're having a lot of rain right now. So a lot of their folks are into computers and things like that. So a lot of those types of work, because I saw that at schools, and they're quite good. It's quite good. And so the people from Bhutan are actually immigrating to like Australia. Is good. They're immigrating to places that they can get jobs that pay enough, but then they're really missing their culture. And so that's why they're going to be doing a free trade zone area where they can keep the people and bring in high-paying jobs. And then there's always tourism. I think it's tourism and hydroelectric to me. Yeah, because you can't travel there without a guide. So even if you want to go there as a couple or by yourself, you have to have a guide. Otherwise you don't get a visa to enter.
Is it the same thing for Tibet? Yeah, guided tours, right? So I have a question to Chinese scholars in Gary. So the two ladies, the minority, Shashu Minju, like rice paddies, with behind, with like a silver. What tribe? Are they? Miao. Yeah, Miaoju. No, not different one. It was earlier. The rice paddy, Yangshuo area. I think it was like rice paddies, and they had like some hats, but lots of silver. Yeah. Okay.
I was going to ask our Chinese scholars, have you been to some of the places she has been to? Did you see familiar places? Did you see anything that was new or different for you?
See. See.
So you talked about the matchmaking area. So we're not talking about like a few individuals, like thousands of people, hundreds of people. Yeah, what do you call it?
Spring.
No. 相亲节. Yeah. So like when I saw this in Shanghai, Rubin, the park, People's Park, there were like thousands of people out there matchmaking.
Yeah, that really shocked me. I was like, what are they doing over there? They're like, oh, they're matchmaking. What? Yeah, and then the parents kind of say,
Yeah, but there are a lot of people who are doing this for business too. Presenting,
Oh, yeah, that's what I saw. It was the matchmaker business. That's what I saw.
Lastly,
Yes.
I think most of our scholars are interesting. So what advice would you give to beginners who want to document their travel.
What?
Advice would you give
Oh,
to
just go in with an
beginners?
open mind. Just go in with an open mind and just willing to learn. Because it's really about just watching, listening, being part of things. And the more you do that, the more you'll see that it doesn't matter where you go. People are just super nice. Super nice. And I remember I got lost in Japan. I was supposed to meet somebody for dinner at my restaurant. And so then I went into another restaurant and told them that I was supposed to meet somebody. And I couldn't find the restaurant. Do you know that they actually went to the manager, told them that they'd be back in a little bit. They walked me, I was 2 blocks away. They actually walked me all the way to the new restaurant and then bowed to me and then came back. And it was just like, she didn't know who I was. And I was never probably ever gonna go into her restaurant. But it was just, people are just so nice. That's all I have to say. People are nice everywhere. Just go in there with an open mind. If you give off kind of the aura that you want to learn, want to be part of things, and you're open, people are open to you too.
Okay, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This is, we have small token of
Oh, thank you.
appreciation.
Thank
Like
you.
a premium tea set
Oh
from
my
South
God.
Korea
Thank you.
and some goodies from Mizzou International Center, memorabilia.
Thank you.
So
Thank you so much.
so much.
Thank you.
And one announcement, so you can